Greetings, welcome to the channel. It's Miaviva here, and I have about 7 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna make this quick. This came to me this morning while I was on a call, and it was what came to my mind was the hard part after the hard part, right? And this is what they don't tell you. They talk about the dark night journey, the being at the pits of hell, and I've used all the language. I understand all of that. I know what it feels like, the confronting of the darkest parts of yourself, swimming with demons. I know it all, right? And you think that is the hardest part. Like, it can't get worse than this. There is no worse than this. You know what I mean? But I'm here to tell you that there is a hard part after that hard part. And it looks very different. It has a different purpose, right? You've gone through all this healing. You've self-confronted. You swam with demons. You have confronted demons. You've confronted yourself. You've let go of mindsets. You let go of how you were told you were supposed to be, what you were supposed to think, how you're supposed to move in the world. You've let it all go, or at least you've confronted it, right? So now the hard part after the hard part is your test. Right? Nobody took a class in school without having a test to make sure that you understood the curriculum, to make sure that you understood the material, right? And what I'm finding and what I'm seeing is that this test, they come as pop quizzes. You think you're done. You think you're done, right? So it's like a professor giving you a test last Friday and it's like, boop, Tuesday morning, let's go take out a pencil. Pop quiz, right? This is how this shows up. And that's why it's so hard, because you feel like you can get a breather. You feel like you can get a break. You're like, yo, I can't take it anymore. Stop playing, right? And somehow, some way, you have to show that you have actually moved into this higher octave of yourself. You have to show and prove of where you're really willing to go, where you say you want all these things. You say you want this new life. You say you want to be a leader. You say you want to be an entrepreneur, solopreneur. You want to be at a higher level of leadership within your company, whatever it is. Okay, well, here, let's go. Let's go. And that's why so many stories of, like, you know, super successful people, when you talk about success on a physical plane, they typically, that's synonymous with having a whole bunch of money, which if you talk to those people, you'll quickly find out that's not success. But anyway, for the sake of this video, people who have acquired a lot of financial assets, they often have some type of testimony that speaks to unwavering belief, right, of a test, right? It's the hero's journey. It's the test. You will be tested. You don't go through a dark night, shadow work, inner child healing on certain levels for it not to mean nothing. You don't just get handed what you say you want to say, or you say you want, right? You have to show and prove for that. You have to put in work for that, right? And yes, your healing was work, but I see it as the healing was just initiation to get to the gate to start the work. Your healing was not it. So don't get gassed because you feel like you're in a phase where you're like, oh man, I know I've heard about dark night. I've heard about this undoing. I've heard about the stretching. The stretching and the growing comes after the healing. So you have the dark night, the shadow work, the inner child healing, all that, the isolation, all of it. And then you start to ease out of it and you're like, oh, I can get a breather. It makes sense to me now. Let's go. Odds are you're meeting people who are destiny helpers. You're meeting people who are on the vibration that you're trying to get to. You're meeting people who represent, you know, the higher octave of yourself. Boom, pop quiz. You're in the test. And that's why it's so hard, because you're caught off guard during your breather. So it's like working out, having a water break, and then somebody throwing you one of the weighted balls while you're drinking water. It's like, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? So when I was listening to a coach this morning, that came to mind, like, there's a hard part after the hard part. Absolutely. 5,000%. And it makes it so much easier when you have someone that you can speak to or talk to who's familiar with this process of stretching and growing. And that's why you'll see so many coaches or consultants or leaders have coaches and consultants and leaders. Like, you get to this point in life, personal and life, because there's personal coaches and there's business coaches and there's life coaches and there's spiritual coaches and there's, okay, coaches on coaches on coaches. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. People don't perform at super high levels by themselves. It just doesn't happen. Your dream mentor has a mentor. Your dream coach has a coach. Tony Robbins has a coach. Okay, because everybody looks at Tony Robbins like he is the end all be all. Okay. Every person that you've seen who coaches people, leads people, impacts people, guaranteed, they have minimum 2 coaches, minimum. So it's a graduation, it's an evolution, it's a growth, it's a process, it's a journey. Okay, so that's all. I have 2 minutes before my call, but I wanted to come on here and share this because this was something that popped into my head this morning. And I said, yeah, there is a hard part after the hard part. And in life's journey in general, there's always pop quizzes. There's always things that throw us off our square, or at least try to, so that's a question of how grounded are the things around you. Have you built your house? Have you built a tower on sand? Have you built the foundation of your identity on sand? Have you built it on what society has told you you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to act, what you're supposed to do? Or are you grounded in something that is so cemented in truth or faith that it can't be touched? So that's going on further and further. But the point of this video is there's a hard part after the hard part. Okay, so again, I'm Miaviva. If you're new here, welcome. I typically don't move this fast. I typically take my time, but energy flows. If you're interested, Women Redeemed starts March 5th. Is a group of 5 women who are bouncing back better after hitting rock bottom's basement. Okay, but they're not just bouncing back better, they're bouncing back towards God and into leadership, aligned leadership, right? That starts March 5th. It's only 5 spots. Okay, if you're interested, it will be in the first link in the description box. You can also email me if you have any questions. I hope this helped you give some perspective. Okay, so I hope everybody is doing fantastic, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.